Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cutting the Crap with Shap. Thank you so much for checking out my podcast and YouTube channel. I really hope that you've gotten something out of the few little segments I put forward. Again, we'll be having some amazing guests coming up soon. And really, it's just about trying to make the space a really positive, authentic, and happy place for people to go and learn and share together. So, for this podcast, I'm going to be talking about 5 ways to create happiness in your life. And again, I'd love for you to subscribe, get involved, ask questions. And these 5 are not meant to be, they're not all inclusive. Like if somebody says, what are ways to get happy? We know that there's going to be more than 5 things. But these are things that I think have really worked for me. And they're not really that complicated. When I talk about them, you're going to probably be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I understand that. And hopefully you'll ask questions, have a discussion about it, and we can learn. And then this will kind of be part one. There'll be a part two, maybe a part three. Who knows? We'll just see how it goes. And I'm sure when I have people on the podcast, they'll be talking about it as well. So here we go, not in any specific order. Number one is you really want to find something that you are truly passionate about. I always kind of share that for me, I've been really lucky because I started exercising when I was really young. I started when I was about 13 years of age. I'll never forget my father had gotten me a little set of dumbbells. Yes, 45 years ago, I'm 58. 45 years ago, they had dumbbells. He got me a set of dumbbells. And that's been something that has been a passion of mine for 45 years. I've been doing it for a long time, and it's kind of like a go to. When I say find something you're passionate about, that gives you something to go to when you're really struggling. And everybody's going to be different. Like your passion might be your work, it might be art, it might be gardening, it might be traveling. There's so many different things. I can't name even 1/100th of all the things that give us passion. But if you can find at least one thing, I mean, maybe you have more than one thing, but if you can find that one thing that gives you passion in life, it can really kind of balance out those struggles that we have because there's going to be struggles. And if you don't have a go to, um, it can be really difficult. So, like I said, it takes time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. And you just keep working at it over time. And hopefully you find something that you really love to do. Number two, and this is something I talk about all the time with students and people, and it's just so common sense, but it can be really hard to do in a society where we have so much negativity coming at us. And that is make sure you surround yourself with people that lift you up. Um, I know personally, I would never surround myself with people that make me feel like crap, you know, because if that's happening, I want to make sure that I'm telling them, yo, you're not making me feel very good. I'm not going to tolerate that. And when you are around people that make you feel inspired, respected, valued, trusted, you're going to be so much more willing to give that back to them because they just make you feel good about things. And again, I'm not saying that every single person in your life is going to be like that. I would say that that's, it's pretty unrealistic. But if most of the people that you have in your life are making you feel really valued and trusted and cared for, that can make an incredible difference. And I would say that's something you really want to try to aim for as much as possible. And of course, giving people praise. Like if somebody's making you feel good, make them feel good as well. Number three is really related to that. And I'll tell you a quick little, not really a story, but more of something I see a lot. So if when I go up to people and I say, wow, I really like your hair today. It looks really nice. I can't tell you the number of people who say, oh my God, no, it looks horrible. I'm like, what? You know, give yourself some praise. If you do something well, or you look nice, or you've worked hard, or you feel good, praise yourself. Okay. So many times the human psyche is so quick to be critical of ourselves instead of giving ourselves credit. I'm not talking about bragging. That's something different. I'm talking about being aware of the things we do well. And when things do go well, accept it, acknowledge it. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't be going around bragging about it constantly, but be willing to own it. And right along with that, and this is still number three, is make sure you're giving praise to others as well, because it's kind of a two-way street. You know, somebody says, "Ray, hey, you really look nice today." There's nothing wrong with coming back and saying kind of the same thing to them. It's kind of like a win-win. Um, Number four, a very tough thing. I just had a conversation with a colleague of mine, literally 2 days ago, and this topic came up, and it was difficult for her to talk about, and it was kind of like being able to let go of others, especially those that are close with you. And we know that that can be incredibly hard, especially if it's like family or really, really good friends. To let somebody go is difficult, but it can also be incredibly, I guess the word's cathartic, if you can do that. Because if people are making you feel bad constantly and they're not fun to be around and they're toxic, they are not making your life better. Simple as that. They're not making it better. And we always want to kind of think about, are people lifting us up or are they bringing us down? And I mentioned this earlier. I'm not expecting every person to make us feel great 24/7, because that's not possible. But think about if a person is making you feel like crap all the time. Like, you really want to be around that person? That person's not going to be making your life better, and you really want to try to avoid that as much as possible. And the last thing, number five, be willing to forgive yourself and forgive others. We're all going to make mistakes, right? We're flawed. We're human beings. We're not going to be perfect. It is much more common for somebody to harp on the things that they have done wrong and not forgive themselves than to give themselves credit for the things that they will do well. It's kind of like what I talked about before about giving yourself praise. If you make a mistake, don't live in it. Learn from it, of course, and move on from it. And we don't want to keep making the same mistake over and over again. Like that's not good. We do want to learn from them. And hopefully the mistakes that we make are not egregious in nature, but learning from them is really critical, and also forgiving ourselves consistently. And along those same lines, kind of finishing up, is being willing to forgive others. Remember, I just mentioned about like letting people go. I think you let somebody go when their behaviors and actions and words are happening frequently, even though you've given them a chance to forgive themselves. So if I'm having a problem with somebody and I let them know and I give them a chance to forgive themselves, I might give them a chance to make amends, and they don't make amends and they keep doing it. It's going to be hard for me to hold on to that person because they keep doing the same thing. But if they make a mistake and I let them know they've made a mistake and it's upsetting to me, it's hurt my feelings, it's impacted me in a negative way, and they are willing to kind of correct and be better, we should definitely forgive them. So I hope these five things have been helpful. Again, they're not meant to be all inclusive. Nothing is going to be all inclusive. We kind of have to work around and find those things that work well for us. And even though I gave you five things, I'm not suggesting that you have to work on all of them all the time. I'm suggesting that pick certain moments to work on some. So again, for me, I don't need to find something I'm passionate about because I already have that. So that's kind of ingrained in my brain. But maybe I need to work on being around people who lift me up more, or being willing to let go of others. I don't know. I'd have to think about that a little bit deeper. But it's very problematic if I tell you the five things and you automatically say, "Oh my God, I got to do all of those five." Pick one, pick two. Maybe you're already great at something, and then kind of build that pyramid base up from the bottom. It will help you be so much more successful. So again, I hope you really got something out of this podcast. I think the five tips are really valuable. They're valuable for anybody. It's not just one person. Please share out and subscribe and like. That's how we build the channel up. I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to be on the podcast, love to have you on. I really love differing opinions and love to have conversation with people. So anything you bring forth, I'm going to be up for. Um, as we always say, we always want to kind of finish with some kind of I guess, affirmation. And this one is really simple. It is you matter. Thank you again, everybody, for all that you do. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.